Hey everybody, this is Kweku from Next Gen Windows, and today's app review is going to be Toolbox. Toolbox is a modern UI style application for Windows 8 and Windows RT that allows you to snap all these different mini applications that are part of the Toolbox app to different corners of the screen. So we're going to start off by looking at the main layout right here, which allows you to select your different apps that you want to put on. No, you cannot add modern UI style apps, say on your start screen over here to here. When they come out with updates for this app, and I'm pretty sure they'll have more things like Twitter and all this other stuff. Hopefully they'll have those extra things, because that would make it really useful for now. But it allows you to snap, say, web and calculator to different corners of the screen and stuff like that. But for starters, we're going to right click or swipe in from the top or bottom to take a look at the hidden options that you get. When you swipe in from the top or bottom, you can see at the bottom here, you can save tool set, which is basically once you snap these things to different corners of the screen and you're happy with that, you can save it that way. Every time you open up the application, you can just right click and you can choose the save tool set. So over here we're going to take a look at, say, Brainstorm. Brainstorm basically allows you to have the sound recorder, what looks like a sound recorder, a web browser, and a painting thing or doodle. So when we click on that, it opens up those three, and then it allows you to use a microphone. We'll block that for now since I'm recording. And then you can see we have the web browser open down here, the voice notes over here, and the doodle over here, which allows you to doodle just like that and use the different options right here. And a cool thing that you can do with this is you can drag this to resize everything. So it's just something that's really cool that I wish Windows 8 did by default, but for this application, it allows you to resize these things in many different positions. That way you're always satisfied. So if you want to have the voice notes as the smallest, you can pretty much arrange this however you want. So we can have this here, put the voice notes very small over here, and then we can also drag the web browser and make it big, since it's it's a web browser, you need it pretty big. And then since the voice notes, say if I was to use it, doesn't really need to take up that much space, but the doodling does, I can put the doodling right here so it takes up more space. And then now the microphone or the voice notes is the smallest, so you can rearrange things any way you want it. And of course you can make it take up, you can make the web browser take up the most space if you want, and it resizes itself it resizes everything by itself, or vice versa if you felt like it. If you notice up here, the options change in the web browser. To be particular, when you open up any website, obviously it shows the history and it shows the favorites. You can see I added one thing to the favorites. A way you do that is when you go to whatever website you want. Let's say we go to google.com. You can see that we're not going to make Google faster, but you can see that when you click here, this arrow, you can hit the star button, which is a favorites button, and then you can add it to favorites, which you'll see on the left. Right here, it added it to favorites, so you can reopen up anytime. Of course, it has the basic functions, back and forward, and it has the home, and then it tells you the Google logo when you go to google.com or whatever website. And then it has a refresh button and a favorites button, something that I wish Internet Explorer had all of these. That way you could actually go forward instead of having to click the arrows on the screen. But that's just personal. Another thing you can do is when you click here, it allows you to go back to the app screen, and then you can select whatever application you want. But let's go back to, let's say we go to the converter, which is basically a unit converter, and you can convert units to any of these measurements. You can convert, click here to convert the numbers and everything like that. If you have a touch screen, you can just tap it, but keyboard works just as fine. So when we do that, we can right click or swipe in from the top or bottom to bring back this screen over here. And what we're going to do instead is we're going to click Add Tool. When we click Add Tool, you see the borders start to open up a little bit, and allows you to hit the plus sign to add an app to whatever of one of these corners, whichever one you choose. So we're going to add it to the top. When we open up this thing to the top, it divides the screen exactly in half for starters, but you can always rearrange that as you saw earlier. And then say if we want to add weather. Now we have weather on top. It's going to gather the latest weather information, so you can see my area, temperature, and you can choose whether you want Fahrenheit or whatever you want. You see all the different choices that they have by default on here, but of course these change, and of course this is by AccuWeather.com, so it's pretty accurate. You click this if you want to go back to the weather screen, And then you can of course rearrange this thing if you want to take this up the full screen or whatever you want. And then another thing we're going to do is we're going to right click again and we're going to custom do it again. So do I want to add an app over here or down here? I'll choose to add it down here. So then it makes the unit converter take up more space because we haven't opened up an app yet. So then let's say we choose to go to the web browser. Now the web browser is open down here and the unit converter is here and the weather is here. But since we don't need, say for a practical thing, you don't need the weather to take up so much space because you just take a quick glance at it. Then you can just basically drag the weather up away, or you can drag the web browser up to take up more space since it's a web browser and it needs as much space as possible. And then once you take up more space with the web browser or whatever app that's here, you can rearrange it to different things. It divides the screen into thirds, so you can see. Just pretend this line right here on the weather is the 1/3 line, or the one. This is actually 1/4 line. It divides the screen into four. Sorry, but let's just pretend this is the 1/4 line because it practically is. You can see it divides the screen pretty much that way. This way is in thirds though. Sorry if I'm sounding a little bit confusing, but you get the point that the good thing about this is that it divides the screen however way you choose to do it. And this is a way that I wish Microsoft did in the beginning, because there are plenty of ways that you want to snap applications. Let's say I wanted the web browser. The cool thing about this is you can not only keep snapping your Metro style applications on here, and then you can also have the Toolbox. Sorry, you can also have Toolbox open over here. That way you have your apps that you're trying to snap. So then again, you can right click, and then you can add another tool, and you can still add tools to the left side, top, or bottom because the right side is used up by 2 applications already. You can still add apps even while you're in Snap View to the whatever side you want. So you can add notifier if you want to, and then this is basically a stop clock or an alarm. You can add applications to just about any position that you want, and obviously not diagonal, just in these square positions and stuff like that. But to show you the max way that you can do it, layout 9 basically shows you the max that you can add things. So we're gonna go to web, we're gonna open up a calculator, we're gonna open up converter. Let's open up clock, weather, and let's open up let's say doodle. So now we've opened up 6 applications that were part of this Toolbox app, and we have Snap View over here. So all those things together, basically you're opening up a total of 7 applications on Windows 8 in general. But you got to note that this line right here, is the actual Windows 8 Snap View line. These lines right here with the 5 are actually part of Toolbox, so try not to get that too confused. And then of course you can still do this to drag it to the corner. But the cool thing I like about this here is that when you do this and you drag back, it brings back all the applications that you have open on this thing, so it doesn't close them out even though it doesn't show them. It just saves them in the corner, and then when you pull it back out, they're all there in the same position that they had before. So let's say we typed in the calculator this, and then we doodled something like this, and then we want to go check out our desktop, which has these random messages coming up, which I don't know why they're there. And then when we go back, everything's the same position. The number is there, the doodle is there, the web browser in the same position is there. And then if we want the web browser to take up more space, we can do that. We can make it in 5 or whatever you want, whatever position that you want, you're allowed to do it with this application. So to me, it's a really good application. It's an example of what Windows 8 should have been like in their snapping applications. Because a lot of people I've noticed complained about, if you have a 1920 by 1080 resolution screen like mine, you want to use apps to take up more real estate. You want to have more apps open to take up your real estate. You don't want to have one giant application taking up everything. Like if you see here, you don't want your web browser taking up full screen and then you can't do anything else. So it's just a good application. I recommend you guys go check it out. This is actually free on the Windows Store, and you can get it on Windows RT also. So if you have any more questions or comments or concerns about this application, leave it in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. This has been Kweku from Next Gen Windows, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.